possible to switch from software engineering to data engineering?
Definitely, it is possible if the person is keen to learn and grow and have a desire to learn new things. Definitely, they can become data engineer from software engineer.
Correct. If you take a break or relocate, is your career over?
No, it definitely person will face so many hurdles. When I moved to Singapore from India, I faced some challenges to find
Hmm.
another job. But as I was consistent
Hmm.
to learn and grow, I got the opportunity here. Yeah.
Good to hear that. Should you follow only one tech stack throughout your career?
Definitely not. Market is growing each and every day. New tech skills are coming in the market.
Hmm.
So if you are keeping yourself up to the market, you have more better opportunities and
Hmm.
your career will grow. So definitely you should learn always.
That's true. Absolutely. Yeah. Without a CS degree from IIT, NIT's good roles abroad are out of reach. Is that even true, Samriti?
No, because I'm also from a college which is not very known. It is not IIT or NIT,
Hmm.
something like that. But right
Hmm.
now I'm working with the Singapore GovTech Technology, which is a government firm in Singapore,
Oh,
technical government firm. So definitely it's not a blockage to grow in career.
awesome. Awesome. So, hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Techverse podcast, where we explore real stories from real tech professionals who have made it big by grinding through the noise, the myths, and the mess. Today's guest is someone whose journey is as inspiring as it is practical. Smriti she's a certified data engineer working with Singapore's GovTech agency. She has transitioned from a Hindi medium background in 12th grade to cracking engineering in English and moving across roles from .NET to full stack to backend, and ultimately found her passion in data engineering. Samriti, welcome to our podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Devesh, for having me here. I'm super excited to be here.
Thank
Thank you.
you. How are you doing today, Smriti?
I'm doing great. Great.
That's good to know. Smriti, let's rewind to your school and early college days. You mentioned you have studied 12th grade in Hindi, correct?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
still you cracked engineering in English. How did you
Yeah.
manage that? Can you tell our audience?
Yeah, definitely. So, definitely, that is a kind of a small struggle, I will say, of my life, because definitely in our generation, who has passed out uh, 2014 with graduation, they
Hmm.
must have came from very different culture and very different places. uh,
Hmm.
I came, I
Correct.
belong to Madhya Pradesh, where our school, like our school used to teach everything in English. Sorry, Hindi, and that time English was not that much important, right?
Correct.
So I have completed my schooling in Hindi. But as I was always good in study and I wanted to become something, I have decided, okay, I want to become a to become engineer and grow myself. So to fulfill that dream, I decided to do Bachelor of Engineering, gave the exam. So when I was preparing, I realized that, oh, everything is in English. It's quite tough for me to do that. Still, I pushed myself, I learned things, I gave the exam, got the college. Even though after getting the college, I found out, oh, okay, everything is, all the books are in English now, I'm not getting anything. So it took me quite a while to learn. I used to read newspapers every day,
Hmm.
Times of India. I used to read dictionary. I used
Hmm.
to talk to people in my hostel, in my
Hmm.
college in English, and they used to laugh because I didn't know, but still I was trying because I know I want to do it. I need to do it. Then slowly I started understanding it, and then there were few teachers who helped me to grow in this direction. They were taking English speaking classes, and I have joined
Mm-hmm.
them. So they also pushed me a lot and gave me a lot of confidence to grow and uh, not to take this very seriously and block it for my life. So yeah, I think I came quite far, but yeah, that was one of the biggest step of my life. Maybe it's not common, but for me, yeah, it was.
Great, that's a very inspiring story, I must say, Smriti. So,
Yeah.
was engineering even a familiar path for your family, Smriti?
No, all of my family members, they are in business, and my father was in medical line, so he was in government hospital. So no one was in this career path. That time I only chose to become an engineer. So yeah, that was
Oh,
also a tough thing to lead.
yeah, I understand your struggles that you have come from and reached in Singapore working as a data engineer, working for
Yeah.
GovTech company. That is a really a proud moment and quite
Yes.
inspiring for our audience as well. That's great. And how's your experience working in Singapore after working in India?
It's pretty good. Both country have them own experience and own way to work. So, working in Singapore has been a very different um, experience in terms of the work culture. If I talk about, it is quite more structured, I will say,
Hmm.
and there are strong emphasis on work life balance and clear communication and planning the work ahead.
Okay.
So yeah, and one thing I will also say that there is like how much trust and ownership you are given. You
Hmm.
really rely on that and fulfill that. So when I joined my current role, I had joined as a data engineer, but I got the complete freedom to design the product because I was the first member of the team, and I was leading the team. So I had the
Hmm.
full freedom to make architectural decision and set up the process from the scratch, which really helped me to grow as a data engineer and my career here.
Hmm. Okay. All right. All right. And tell us, how is the IT work culture in Singapore?
IT work culture is actually depend organization to organization. We cannot
Hmm.
generalize that. But as
Hmm.
I mentioned, everyone is trying to maintain work-life balance here, and that really helped you to keep your mental peace.
That's
And
very important these days.
yeah, it's very important. It's very important because if you are working 14 to 15 hours daily, and like
Hmm.
because in Singapore you also cannot have someone to do your house chores like India. So it's very messed up if you are doing everything all
Correct.
together.
Hmm.
So that's people understand and people value the time. That's more important here.
Okay, okay. And people are struggling more with the mental health these days,
Yeah,
apart from the physical health. So
definitely.
that becomes a cause of issues. In Singapore, you get that advantage. They have a proper work-life balance.
Yeah, as I mentioned, depend company to company, but definitely people
Hmm.
are trying for that. They are trying very hard to maintain that.
Okay, okay. Let's talk about your move to Singapore, Smriti. What triggered that shift?
I moved to Singapore on dependent pass, Divesh. Yeah.
Okay, okay. And can you explain your journey to find a job in Singapore in GovTech agency?
Yeah, that was a very new experience for me when I moved here. I I was really worried like how I will get the job, but at the same time I was confident also that I can do it. So um, for 8 months I was just applying the jobs in
Mm.
LinkedIn. I was keeping up myself up to date with the technology. I
Mm-hmm.
was learning data, even though I was working on Databricks in my previous
Okay.
companies and in my career, but still I was learning new things. I was attending the workshops here, and I was making connections with people, and I was having the networking meeting here. So
Correct.
all those things help me to get to know people, because Singapore market is not very vast. They have very limited openings.
Okay.
So you do not get lot of opportunities and calls, so you need
Mm.
to be very much well prepared whenever you are getting call.
Okay.
Yeah. So after 8 months I got the this opportunity, and luckily, and with my all efforts I cracked it down, and I got placed in Singapore GovTech as a client. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. That's great. So, do you need to be a topper or genius to make it in tech?
Absolutely not, Devesh. I was an average student, but I was consistent. Tech is only need to see that you have problem solving skill and learning from mistakes. So not at all.
That's correct. Absolutely. You nailed it. If you studied in a Hindi medium, you cannot crack engineering. Is that true?
I don't believe in this fact, because actually not fact. I don't believe on this because India is a place which have multiple languages, which is coming from multiple state, and so many students are doing very well and successful in their life. I'm also from background Hindi background, where I completed my schooling till 12th in Hindi. Then I did my graduation in English, and now I'm here working as a data engineer in Singapore. So I know this is not the barrier to scale in career. Yeah,
Correct. Is it possible to switch from software engineering to data engineering?
definitely it is possible if the person is keen to learn and grow and have a desire to learn new things. Definitely, they can become data engineer from software engineer.
Correct. If you take a break or relocate, is your career over?
No, it definitely person will face so many hurdles. When I moved to Singapore from India, I faced some challenges to find
Mm.
another job. But as I was consistent
Mm.
to learn and grow, I got the opportunity here. Yeah.
Good to hear that. Should you follow only one tech stack throughout your career?
Definitely not. Market is growing each and every day. New tech skills are coming in the market.
Mm.
So if you are keeping yourself up to the market, you have more better opportunities and
Mm.
your career will grow. So definitely you should learn always.
That's true. Absolutely. Yeah. Without a CS degree from IIT, NIT's good roles abroad are out of reach. Is that even true, Samriti?
No, because I'm also from a college which is not very known. It is not IIT or NIT, something like that. But right
Mm.
now I'm working with the Singapore GovTech Technology, which is a government firm in Singapore, a
Oh,
technical government firm. So definitely it's not a blockage to grow in career.
awesome, awesome, awesome. And do certificates matter in your career growth, Smriti?
Definitely, certificates always give you chance to open up new opportunity from good companies. So yeah, they definitely help.
All right. And is it true that product companies do not hire professionals with a service background?
No, it's not like that. I started my career from service-based company, and then I worked in product-based company
Mm-hmm.
also. And it's not like that. If you are fulfilling the requirement for the job, then definitely you can get the opportunity.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Is working abroad only possible for people who are from tier one colleges?
No, it's for anyone who is willing to put in the work, networking, upskilling, and preparing for global interviews. They just need to put efforts.
There is a lot of buzz around AI taking over jobs, as you would have heard, Smriti. How do you see
Mm.
the role of data engineers evolving throughout this?
So yeah, definitely we are everyone is scared about the AI, like AI is coming and it will take the job. it's not completely true, but yeah, somewhere it is
Correct.
true also. We all
Correct.
know, right? Because AI is a tool which is very smart and can do work efficiently. So
Correct.
we can say like that, if one work was getting done by four people previously, now
Mm.
it will be getting done by two people, because
Correct.
now you have a very efficient tool to work on it, and it will take less time also,
Correct.
and it is getting smarter day by day.
Day by day, it's
But
getting
I
trained.
will not it is gonna completely replace us, because there are more areas on which data engineers will be working on, like
Correct.
creating the uh, if data is clearing the data which is raw data and coming as unstructured data,
Correct.
and then we will have more time to analyze that and
Correct.
uh, put it into a right direction, right? So
Correct.
there will be another opportunity for data engineers to learn different perspective and grow in that direction when AI will be taking care of other aspects which data engineers are doing now.
True. True. True.
So it is like that. You cannot sit still in your comfort zone and say, okay, I will be doing this in my whole life. Definitely, you need to learn every day and do something which AI will not be doing.
Correct. That's absolutely true. And so, what advice do you have for someone who is trying to break his career into data engineering in 2025?
I will say, if you're coming from a different stream and different background of your tech stack, take small steps. Start learning about data engineering, how data works in market, what kind of data we have, right? And start building projects. Take some courses. So that will help you grow, and definitely stay consistent on that, so you will get the opportunity.
That's true. That's true. Staying consistent is one thing that every one of us has to follow in anything. Yeah, that's absolutely true. And if someone from India wants to work in Singapore today, what
Mhm.
would you recommend to that person?
I would say, like Singapore and any other country, if you want to go and work there from India, first you need to expand your network.
Correct.
You should be very much active on LinkedIn, connects with HR,
Hmm.
apply for the jobs which are available. I have many friends who has gone to another countries like UK, US.
Hmm.
They have, definitely the process is little tough, like you need to give exam, written exam based on the company policies, right? But
Correct.
first you need to find the right opportunity. Sometimes it definitely takes time to find the right opportunity, but if you are on the track, be there, stay there, you will definitely get it.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So, Smriti, tell us about your
Mhm.
10-year long journey from backend.net to data engineering. How did each phase shape you?
um, I think it shaped me very well where I am right now. But yeah, to answer your question about the journey, I have started my career as a .NET developer. I was working with SEL technology in Chennai in a support. So I support the team for 1 year. Then I have decided, no, I need to move. I I'm I made to do some good development. I was always curious to build some application or do something good. So I was like, no, I want to change my line. Then I left SCL, and then I came back to Bangalore. I
Hmm.
prepared myself and I got another opportunity in Bangalore with Aptian, where I got the opportunity to work on a very good product. Okay,
Okay.
but there was also a challenge. Right? They were having them own created language that is called DML. It's not data manipulation language. It's a different language that they have created for that particular project. So I had to go there. Even though I was hired for .NET, I had to learn that language, and I had to work on that for a year. Then again, time came for me to decide, no, this is not taking me anywhere, and I need to grow from here. So I have given some interview internally in
Mm,
Appian, and then I switched my team.
mm,
So then I got a project on .NET, and there I was scaling and growing myself, working in a project. Then the .NET journey was going further for a few years. When I was working
mm.
in Global Project, I got to see that few of my colleagues are working on data engineer part with Databricks. And when I have looked into Databricks, it actually made me interested to explore more about data. So
Correct.
then started exploring about the data and how this data is coming, because
Mm,
.NET developers are using it, and I was creating APIs and creating microservices, all those parts. But and I was like, from where this is coming, from where this data is coming. So then it got me interested into that, and then I explored, and then I also got opportunity from my team to work on Databricks. So I was for a while I was working on both the projects, like data engineer and my actual work for microservices. So I have worked on many technologies: REST API, microservices, backend applications, JavaScript also. So every year I think I'm just learning new thing and working
adding
on
new
something.
skills in
Yeah.
your bucket.
But then after that I got stick to Databricks for 2 3 years, and then I got to came to Singapore, and then I switched my career here. And right now also I'm learning the Snowflake. So I think this journey is constant when you need
It's a
to.
never ending, learning is never ending.
Yes. So I'm also right now in learning phase of Snowflake. So I think there is always path to grow and learn. Yeah. So this was the story about becoming data engineer.
True, true. That's absolutely true. So, at what point did you feel that yes, I can build anything now? That confidence, you know.
So this confidence came from actually Global Logic and Power School, because there I was working on a very nice projects where I was a very key, uh, what should I say, where I was a person who used to handle a lot of use cases which
Mm,
I need to develop from scratch. And you need to do design thinking, and you need
mm,
to, it's not like you're fixing a bug or something. You need
correct.
to plan the work, you need to plan the strategy, you need to
Mm,
strategize things and how you are going to develop this requirement. So those all opportunities shaped me to get the confidence, okay, now I can do it. And after that, when I came here in Singapore, as I told you, I saw a um, totally different environment, which gave me opportunity to grow. Like I was the first person in my project, and yeah, I was the first person in my project, and I had to. They just told me, okay, we have this requirement, and you need to do it. Then I had to only do for a while until I didn't get my teammates. I had to plan the work. I had to design the architecture of the Databricks, like how our project will be. I had to design the team process. I had to design the data modeling, data integration,
mm.
and refining. So yeah, and this all gave me opportunity to get the confidence. Like now I'm at a place, yes, I can handle a project.
Great, great. That's very inspiring journey.
Yeah.
Learning new tech is not easy. But how did
Mhm.
you get out of your comfort zone that you are adding new skills every year, every year? So how is that happening? Just help us, you know.
I think this is my nature. If I see myself from school, like I always want to learn something and do something. I cannot sit in my comfort zone. If I'm there, I'll get bored and I'm like, what I'm doing in my life and why I'm not learning anything. That kind of attitude give me give me a kick to grow myself.
Correct, correct. Thanks a lot. Let me take a pause here, Smriti, and let me address to the audience. So, guys, kindly
Definitely.
comment in the comment section that if you are also adding new skills every year or in every 2 years you are adding up new skills, kindly comment that in the comment section if you are doing that. And if you are also wish to do, but what is the challenge that you are facing, also comment that in the comment section and we'll try to address your challenges that you're facing to add up new skills every year or every 2 years. All right. Okay, let's do Mythbusters now. Are you ready,
Mhm.
Smriti?
Yes, I'm ready, Devesh.
Great, great. So let me start with the first question. Is
Mhm.
Azure less capable than AWS when we talk about data jobs?
I don't think so. Azure has matured a lot in the data space with tools like Snaps, database integration, and Data Factory. And AWS is an old cloud platform that we have, and it is getting used in a very wide scale. So both are the greatest competition to each other. So I don't think so.
Okay. Do you need to master everything before applying for the job?
You don't need to master everything, but yeah, you should be knowing things well enough to develop the product or project and what
Hmm.
is the job requirement they have. You should be able to understand the requirement and strategize things. So definitely core skill is important. You should be confident enough about that. Yeah.
Is working in product companies always chill?
I don't think so. You, whoever works in product company, you will never hear that. It's always exciting. You will get a lot of responsibility and ownership, and you need to give the that much accountability in product based company. So it is always exciting to work with product based company.
Okay, great. Is government tech work boring and outdated?
No, we cannot say that in Singapore. GovTech is innovating as at far like very fast. Now they are using the Gen AI
Hmm.
and exploring new things each and every day. So it is very far from boring that what we think of.
Okay. And now, do data engineers just move the data from point one to point B? Is that correct?
As I told you before, right, data engineers have a lot of things to do. It's not moving data from one place to another place. It's like we optimize the performance, create the secure pipelines, and empower and analytics, right? So ETL, which moves data from one to another place, is just a one part of data engineering.
Okay. And can a single tech certification land you a job?
As we discussed earlier, right, certification only give the opportunities, only open the doors for you to get the opportunities to
Correct.
get better tools for you to work. It never lend you on a job.
Okay. If you fail interviews, does it mean you are not good enough?
We have failed a lot of interviews the ways we know that it's not like you always crack and get placed, right? So whenever you interviews you are failing, it's like a feedback. Learn from it. Learn what you
Correct.
have done mistakes and what is the requirement that companies are expecting, and go and grab those things and be better prepared for the next time.
Absolutely true. Interviews are just a reflection of your current performance and a feedback. It can never be assured that you are not good enough if you do not clear the interview. Great.
Exactly.
Can't you make it big if you have a very slow start? Is it true?
Everyone has different speed and different pace to cover things, right? I had started slow, and I always like to do things slow. I don't want to rush because when I'm rushing, I'm not grabbing things properly.
Hmm.
So it's important you grab all the knowledge which you are learning. So no need to do hurry. Just grab the knowledge.
Correct. That's true. Are data roles less technical than the software development?
No, it's not like that. Everywhere you have technical things, either it's software development or data related things. It's like on which part you are working on, right?
Correct.
So you are developing different requirement, and you are working on data. Both have different perspective and different uh, place to work on.
Okay. Does working abroad mean you don't have a work-life balance? Is that correct?
Uh, we cannot generalize this, right? Depend on it depend on country to country and city to city. But in Singapore, as I said, people are trying hard to maintain. Like they are, the first priority is like they want to let you go on time. If but obviously, if there are deadlines, you need to push yourself. You cannot get all the comfort every time. But one is trying to maintain that,
Correct.
and companies doesn't force you on that. Yeah.
Absolutely true. So now that you are a key part of GovTech product team, what is
Mhm.
your core focus as a data engineer?
So at GovTech, my core focus as data engineer is really about building the foundation that makes data usable and reliable for the product team. When I have joined, I started by designing the Databricks architecture from scratch. And so setting up the data pipelines that bring in raw information, cleaning the data and transformation, right, which is a work of ETL process, and
Correct.
then creating well data structured data model, which helps to create the schemas and database level things, right?
Correct.
So that way our analysis and products team can instead focus on inside instead of wrangling about messy data, because we are cleaning it and transforming it and giving it to them, right? So they can more focus on other insights.
Correct. Yeah.
And another part of my role is scalability. So it's like
Hmm.
making sure the pipeline models, with what we have built, it is useful for tomorrow. It's not like for today. So we need to think about future perspective, like how it will be. And as my team expanded, I got the opportunity to work with my team members, setting up development process and best practices, so everyone can collaborate smoothly and be comfortable with each other.
Perfect.
So
Hmm.
yeah, that was all about my data engineer role in the GovTech.
Great to know. Great to know that. And how different is to be the first data person on a product? And what was the mindset needed?
So when they have taken my interview, right? So they didn't tell me that there will be more people with you. I only knew I will be the only person who will be working as a data engineer. So I
Correct.
was well prepared. Like whatever work is about to come, I need to
Hmm.
handle that. And they have before uh, in taking me on board, they have given me the requirement like we have this requirement. Can you just see and understand if you can build this up?
Correct.
So I had to tell them, okay, yeah, I understand this and I understand your requirement, and yeah, we are ready to take this up further.
Correct. All right. So before we wrap up, I want to squeeze in one very important segment because a lot of our audience is still in college or they are in the early stage of their careers. Smriti, could you please share some free resources or free platforms that help in your journey into data engineering?
Mhm. Yeah, so of course, honestly, there are tons of amazing free resources that I personally use during my transition phase and my learning phase. So, few of them I will recommend. We
Sure.
all use that YouTube channel, right?
Hmm.
So there are multiple courses on YouTube channel. Few of them like Alex the Analyst, which is great for beginners learning SQL data warehousing concept.
Okay.
And the next would be Data School and Kenji. This will help in excellencing or uh, get good knowledge for real world projects and career tips. Next, you guys can look into Tech with Tim for Python focused data tasks. Python is very important right now. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
There are other channels like Courses and MOOC. In that, you can use Coursera, IBM Data Engineering, and Google Data Analytics course. This is free. And EDX, which is like data engineering for Microsoft Azure. And yeah, for hands-on practice, I would say Kaggle. Kaggle is very much famous. I think everyone is aware about that.
Correct.
It's just not for data science, but tons of data set to build pipelines and practice SQL. Lead
Correct.
code, lead code. We have GitHub projects, right? Get in GitHub. Now GitHub is very vast. You can find people also there, and you can find open source data pipelines and projects over there. Next, I would say related to the cloud for cloud exposure, Azure free tier, Azure have them own course, especially useful if you are targeting jobs in Azure-based companies. GCPs and AWS also offer credit for a student, free credit for a student for I think for a month. I think you just need to give your credit card information, and after a month you can cancel that. So you can use the Azure and other spaces to do hands-on and learn that. Community and blogs, that is like Medium and Reddit you can use for the community to get some information. But I will say personal networking is also important. So join some workshop and meet people, get the knowledge.
True. And just for audiences, we'll put all the comments, all these URLs in the comment section, in the pinned comment, as well as we'll put all the URLs in the description of the video as well. And also, I want to ask the audience, if you have, apart from these learning resources, if you have, studied through any other learning resources, also put down that in the comment section. If we like them as well, then we will put that in the description of our video as well going forward. Smriti, tech changes very fast, and
Right.
keeping up can be overwhelming, right? How do you push yourself out of your comfort zone to keep learning and adding new skills in your bucket?
Hmm. So before learning anything or jumping on anything, you need to develop one behavior in yourself, which is like calming and patience, full behavior, where you know that you are on the right path and you will reach to the destination. But you should not be in a hurry. Okay, I'll finish this task in 2 and 3 days, and I'll get this job and I'll get this opportunity. No, you need to have patience also. So that skill is very important when you are learning something new. You need to trust yourself and your journey in that, right? So
Correct.
when you are coming out of your comfort zone, first of all, it's not easy. You need to be a place where you can say yourself, I can do it and I will do it. You just need to focus on your work and focus on your learning. So when I was learning the data breaks and I got the opportunity, it was not easy for me, but I was
Correct.
doing it. I was learning every day. I was doing research and I was searching on Google how to do it, how I can do it, how I can finish my task. I know when you're working in a company, there is a work pressure, like you need to finish on deadline, but at the same time, you need to manage yourself, your emotions, and you need to manage your work and everything at the same time. So, yeah, it's quite tough, but at the end of the day, if you want to do it, you can do it.
Correct. That's absolutely true. So, were there any certifications that help you get opportunities in Singapore?
Okay, so personally, when I came to Singapore, I was not having any certificate. I was just having hands-on experience and the knowledge.
Correct.
But once I got the opportunity and once I got placed in a company, there I got the opportunity to get a certificate, and there after that I have come get the Databricks certificate. But definitely, if you have, I have seen that if you have certificate, you will get more priority. That is there. It's overall in
Correct.
the market. It's
Absolutely.
overall. So if you want to change your stream and if you want to change to another path of your career, if you can get, it's mandatory.
Hmm.
Definitely for that also you can get a job, great good job with your knowledge. But if you have that, your path will become little smoother. That's all.
Perfect. That's a gold mine, right? I love how you included both the theory and hands-on stuff together, because learning data engineering, it's not just about reading, right? It's all
Yeah.
about practical things as well. So yeah.
Exactly, Devesh. Yeah, you need to build stuff, pipeline, model, dashboard, do a lot of strategizing things, do architecture for Databricks, how your product will be. So just don't wait till you are perfect. Like one day you think one day you will be perfect in as a data engineer, then you will start applying for jobs. No, start applying for job now. So if you are
Correct.
applying, you will also get to know in interview where you are lacking and what you need to improve from your side. So just enjoy the journey and push yourself to the market. And if you're liking this conversation between me and Deves, make sure you subscribe his channel, D Tech Was on YouTube. Deves brings in amazing guests and real world insight you don't want to miss. So subscribe him.
Great, great, great. Thank you. Okay, so that's a perfect way to wrap up. So for all the budding data engineers who are listening to our conversation, post scrolling and start building. The tools are already out there. So Smriti, this was one of the most raw, real, and rewarding stories that we have had on DTechverse. You have shown us that no background, no language, no location change can hold someone back if they stay persistent. Thank you for sharing your incredible journey on our platform.
Thank you so much, Deves. I really enjoyed this conversation, and I know I'm not very much different from other people. So many people had faced this kind of issue, but I got the opportunity to address and help other people if I can with my journey. So I will say, do not lose hope and just keep it up.
Great, great. I hope audience would have got a lot of knowledge and practical experience that you have shared, and it will be able to help them as well. So till then, we'll see you in the next episode of DTechverse. Till then, take care of you and your family. See you in the next
Thank you.
episode.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Bye
Bye
bye.
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 Bye.